Yo, 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 YouTube. Thanks again for joining us at the Dollar Box. We've got a great episode for you today. We're going to talk about how to price cards, and we're also going to look at some sales. And we had a lot of sales. All right, when I was thinking about what to do for the video this week, trying to share how I do things here at the Dollar Box, I had a ton of orders over the weekend, and I thought, well, maybe we can incorporate our sales along with the reason for making the video. So that's what I decided to do. So what I'm going to do is show some sales that we've made and then what I paid for that item and why I had the price that I had on it. So the first sale here is this PSA 6 1995 Pinnacle card. Yes, a PSA 6. And you might be thinking, well, why would you even grade that? I have no idea. I didn't grade it. I bought it that way. I got it for $3 back in the day. Probably back slightly before the boom, so 2020 or so. I've had it forever. I like the card. Favre in his Falcons uniform. I like the design. Rookie replay on there. Nice picture on the back. And it didn't look too bad. It's not like all creased or beat up or anything like that. So I thought, well, that's a good placeholder in the PC. I'll upgrade it when I find one at a good price in a better grade. It is a tough card to grade. It's all dark on the borders. It's Pinnacle. They didn't have the greatest card stock and so forth. So, getting a 10 on this card would actually be pretty difficult. But anyway, I got an offer for this. I do have a better one now. So this one is up for sale. And I did get an offer for $20. I was asking $29.99, I think, for it, which is kind of an insane price. But I do that with PSA graded cards, especially lower population ones. And I accepted an offer for $20, so it's a pretty good flip on that one. And they also paid shipping, so $26.89 was the total amount that I got from the buyer. Now, the reason I priced it at $29.99 is due to the fact that there weren't a ton of them graded. Grading costs I knew were going to be going up in the future, which they went skyrocket in the very short future after I bought this. But I knew there were lots of Favre PSA collectors and that this is something I could definitely do better than $3 on. I price all my PSA cards pretty high because I don't care if they sell. I will have them sit around. This isn't a card you would pay to grade. You'd pay $15 to grade this today. And, if you bought it for $1 or whatever, so you're looking at $16 just to do a grading on this card. And that's without shipping expenses and everything else. So I look at the economics of the total package here of this graded card and what it would take to get you there. And that's where I come up with the price. So when I can buy a card like that for $3, I buy it. Okay, so my next example of a sale and how I priced the cards. I got this Shaq Young Lion card, and I got this Rodney Thomas Signature Rookies autographed card from 1995. So we'll start with the Shaq. This Shaq, and the reason I'm showing them together is I bought them from the same dealer. So this Shaq I sold for $2.30. You might think, geez, that's not very much. But I bought this with a bunch of other cards and paid about a nickel a piece for them. So I'm happy to take $2.30 for this. After fees, I end up with about $1.50 or so, maybe a little less than that. But that's not a bad return on a card I paid 5 cents for. No shipping, nothing like that. I bought it at a show. This one I bought from the same dealer, and they were supposed to be 50 cents per auto. Ended up getting them thrown in the box with all the other stuff I bought, about a few hundred cards. So I ended up basically paying a nickel for this one as well, and I sold this one for $3.99. So buying less than big name autos is not a bad idea if you can get them for the right price. Next, I sold a couple of Santa Claus cards. If you watch my recent video, you'd seen me pick these up. I bought a couple stacks of these. I got them for 25 cents a piece from my local card shop, so no shipping. Gave my local card shop some business. And due to the holidays coming up soon, people looking for gifts, things like that, I knew that I could get some sales out of these. So I sold this for $2.99 and this one for $2.99. So really nice return on these two. The reason I priced them that way, there aren't a ton of them listed, and I want to make sure that I get enough return out of these during this time of year. Maybe I'll drop the price a little after Christmas, but right now this is going to be a good item to have. I've already sold a couple of this card. I think this is the first one I've sold of this one. Sold a few other Santas. So I got maybe 5 or 6 sold already, and I probably have another 30 or 40 of them. I bought quite a few. But not bad, from 25 cents to $3 a piece. Figure $3 is a good asking price. I chose to price it at that, even though it's probably a little higher than recent sales, because it gives me leeway to accept offers, look at somebody who's doing multiple purchases. I can give them a discount. So it gives me some room in there to lower that price if need be and still make a good profit. All right, the next one is 2 orders placed by the same person, so of course they're going to ship together, so that's always a good deal. But it's all Christian McCaffrey cards. So it's a 2021 from the Fanatics set, the Fireburst Parallel Phoenix card, a base Zenith, which I pulled out of a pack, and then 2 more of the Fireburst cards. One is the 2021 again, and a 2020. And I sold these for basically $5, $5, so $10 for all 4 of them. So figure $2.50 a piece. Now that's a good return price for me. I bought these in the sets. The 2020 ones weren't very expensive, or the 2021 was more expensive. I think it was like $150 for the set. But the 2021 sets I was getting for like $50 when they dropped the price on them. And you mainly are buying sets like that for the fact that there's a parallel that you can't get out of packs, and then for the rookies. So I'm happy to sell the vets, $3-4 a piece, get a decent return out of those, and then the rookies would make you the bigger money. This card, like I said, is a base card that I got out of a Zenith pack, so I was happy to get a couple bucks for that. And the other thing I think about when I'm looking at pricing cards like this, of this kind of player, he's a running back. He's had big injuries before. He's had to change teams. This is the time to take advantage of the sales on a player like this, because they might not have a lot of sales going forward, and who knows about a long-term financial return on cards like this for non-quarterbacks. So I'm really happy to get these out to a Christian McCaffrey fan and get a few sales on some cards that I might not be able to sell in the future. Sell 4 to 1 collector. All right, the next one is a vintage example. So I've got two 1977 base cards here. I've got a Sam Cunningham, who played for the Patriots, and I've got a Larry Marshall, who played for the Eagles. Neither of these should command any kind of big money or anything. I sold both of these to one buyer for $6, which is a good return. I buy lots of vintage commons when I can. I know I bought a big lot of 77 vintage for like $40 for like 800 cards. It was really cheap. So when you're looking at, paying again that 5 to 10 cents a card, $3 sale price is a good sale in my opinion. That's how I come up with that price. Now the next one is a non-sport example. So I bought a big lot of promo cards, 215 promo cards for a bunch of different shows that have cards made by Inkworks mainly, a couple other different card producing companies, but they were all pop culture cult type shows. So Lost, Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, things like that. And one of the cards that I got a few copies of is first the Spike show. And again, it's a promo, so you see it's got the P1 down there. And I got $4 for this card. Now I bought 215 of these promo cards for $34. So super cheap. Maybe, when does that come out to, like 12 cents a card, 14 cents a card, something like that. So $4 for this card. Really, really nice sale. Next is an example where I bought a set. and I broke it up to sell the cards individually, and it's South Park. This is Damien. It's Damien up there. Card number 40, not an insert, nothing special, just a base card. Now this one I had to pay up a bit for. The South Park cards don't come up very often. It's got such a huge fan base. The show is still on, I believe, so it's got a long-term run. The characters are very well known. It's been merchandised. It's a great. This is the only set of cards that's ever been made for the show. So I paid more than I would normally pay for a set of non-sport TV show cards. I paid $36 for a 40 card set. So I paid 80 cents, 85 cents a piece. There's actually more than 40 cards in. I think it's like 46 cards. It said 40 plus in the listing, as you saw on the screen there. But anyway, I did that because I really wanted some South Park stuff. I felt like I could ask a little bit more per card. They would sell. I could charge more for the main characters, which I did. Cartman and Kyle and them, I charged $5 a piece for. The Damien here I got $3 for. So that's where I came up with the asking price on those. So yet another different example is a card I pulled out of a box. So I got this hobby box of Wild Chrome football cards, and you get 6 autos, I think, in the box for 150 bucks. So what do you charge per card in that situation? Well, basically you're paying $25 per card, but likely some of the cards that you pull are not going to be worth $25. Got a couple of bigger cards out of it. I did get an Anthony Richardson auto, and I pulled this Jaron Hall, who is a quarterback. It's numbered out of 8, 1 of 8, and I sold it for 20 bucks plus shipping. So I got 6 something for shipping, I believe, as well. So basically $20 after I actually ship it and supplies and so forth. So not bad, close to that $25 per card. And like I said, this wasn't one of the big cards. So when you're breaking stuff and you go to resell it, you can't expect to get your money back. But it's a card I don't want to hold on to. I don't know that this guy has much potential to play in the NFL. So I had it priced at $27, I think. So I was happy to take $20. All right, we've got another vintage example. However, this one is non-sport. I've got 2 1977 Topps Star Wars cards that I sold. 2 different buyers, but I wanted to show these together as an example of how I price cards where I get a lot and some cards are worth more than others. So my base price on 1977 base commons, I try to stay a little under $1. And I paid less for these because there were some other cards thrown in, there was some damage, things like that. So there was the price on these was a little bit different. Let's say 75 cents a piece for argument's sake. I think it was actually a little less than that. You can see on the screen there. But anyway, I got $2.99 on the sale of this card. Now at a $3 sale, I've got about buck and a quarter in fees, and then I've got 75 cents that I paid for the card. So I'm making $1 profit. Not to the moon type money, but you have to be willing to take small margins on the cards that aren't the big cards in the lot. Now this is a bigger card in the lot. This is the R2D2's first card. It's card number 3 in the set, so the 3rd card ever produced for Star Wars. And I got $10 for this one. So you figure, okay, same fees, well, a little more in fees because it sold for more, let's say $1.50 in fees. I got 75 cents in my cost, so I got 2 and a quarter into this, and I sold it for 10. So now I've got 7.75. So that's not bad. That's a good return. And there were a couple other cards that are $20, $15. So when you're looking at lots, you need to look at maybe pricing some of the smaller cards, the more common cards, cheaper to get them sold, and then try to get your bigger dollars on the cards that you bought the lot for. All right, the next one's kind of a fun example, and as you all know, I buy a lot of Sports Illustrated for kids. These are actually out of the current issue of the magazine. So there's this Scoot Henderson, excuse me. He's a basketball player for the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think he has a lot of cards. And then Lionel Messi in his Miami kit. So kind of his Miami rookie card, if you want to think of it that way. Now, I paid $6 for the magazine. You get 9 cards in the issue. So I paid roughly 75 cents a card out of that issue. So I sold the Scoot for $2.50 and I sold the Messi for $10. So I sold the Messi alone, even after fees, that's enough to cover the cost of the magazine. So those are a pretty good buy when the issue has some good cards in it. Now, one way to reduce your cost on these is to subscribe. So I did just get a 2-year subscription for $30, which is 15 issues. So you're paying basically $2 per issue. So $2 for 9 cards. And my plan with that is I have a local bookstore here where I can pick up extra issues. So my plan is the subscription, I'll get the issue, so I'll know right when it comes out. I'll be able to see what cards are in it, what the value of those cards are at resale, and then I can head over to my bookstore and pick up extra copies right away should I need them. I slept on the Webanyama issues when they came out, and I could have made some good money on those. So I want to make sure that going forward, I have some guaranteed Sports Illustrated for Kids cards to resell. I also do have an 8-year-old child who is getting into a couple of different sports. So I thought it would be fun anyway for her to have the magazine. I'll get the cards, she gets the magazine, everybody wins. So once in a while, there's a good poster in there too that can go for a little bit of money, especially like the mid '90s ones with Jordan posters in them. Those do pretty well. But how I came up with my pricing on these was I just wanted to make some profit on the more common cards in it, and then I wanted to make sure I made my bigger margins on the major cards. So there's this one, and then I already sold them and shipped them. A female golfer named Rose, I think, that's in the issue, and I was charging $10 a piece for her cards as well, and I ended up accepting $14 for both copies. So I paid $12 for 2 magazines. I sold those 2 cards alone for $14. So basically all the other cards I got in the issues I had no cost in them. So that's kind of how I figure out my pricing on an example like that. Kind of a weird one where you're buying a magazine and you're ripping the cards out. You still have a cost in it, but how do you price? Now something like this Messi card, there's been a bunch of sales already, so you can simply just comp too. But I'm actually willing to go under comps if I know that I have a really good margin on selling all the different cards. It gets you some quick sales. I'm also willing to price over comps if I feel like I could get more money for it, or I need room in there to try to look at receiving some offers or sending some deals, coupons, whatever, to my buyers, to basically get the price back down to comps. I don't want to go too far under in some situations. And last but not least, and this one's going to blow you away, I sold 39 Jets stickers. Now I had bought a bunch of lots of, I'll put it on the screen here. I bought a bunch of lots of these in different teams that I won. They were on auction. I won the Jets pack. You can even see it says 39 on here. So I never sold an individual one. And I had a customer in New York message me and said he wanted all of them. What would I ask? So I gave him a good deal. I normally charge $1.99 when I resell these, and I charged him $45 for the whole thing with free ship. So basically, it's going to end up being after fees and such, it's going to be about $1 per sticker that I got. But I paid $1 for all 39 stickers. I did pay some shipping, but I bought like 8 or 10 different teams and they all shipped together. So figure I paid maybe 50 cents to ship this one pack. If you figure there was some shipping on each one of the other packs. So this is a really, really nice sale. And you have to be, like I said, willing to go down on your price when you're going to sell in quantity to one buyer. That gets you a good dollar sale. It gets me out of that listing. I can go then look for some new things to put that money into, and I got some really, really nice profit. So that's all I have for this video. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Just wanted to give you a little insight on different things, different items I have that I buy, and how I price them, what I look at when I'm adjusting that price, or I'm accepting an offer, or I'm willing to take less money on a card because it came with other cards that I can make more money on. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.